welcome to this review of this 2005 Acura RSX Type S. Now this car is completely bone stock as it came from Acura. In this car we have the K20 engine. It's a 2-liter iVTEC motor making 210 horsepower. Now the 05 to 06 generation, this is a refresh from the first RSX generation, which was 02 to 04. That car made 201 horsepower. This car has a few things on it from the Type R in Japan. They took the intake snorkel duct, they took the B-pipe, they took the muffler, they also took the crankshaft pulley off the Type R, just threw them on this car. Now, away from the engine side of things, why is this car here? Well, it's a successor to the Acura Integra that we had from 1994 to 2001, and that means this car has some pretty big shoes to fill. In terms of handling and feel in a front-wheel drive car, it's tough to beat the 94 to 01 Integra, especially the GSR and Type R models. Those models in particular were some serious track machines. So the question is, does it live up to the name? In my opinion, not really. Honestly, the handling in this car is softer, you don't feel as much of the road. It's almost a little disconcerting compared to the tightness that you felt in those cars before. They were so good. And this car, you just don't feel that. Now when they did the refresh in 2005 of the RSX and the RSX Type S, they made the suspension better. They gave it some stiffer stabilizer bars and some stiffer bushings, and overall made it a better handling car. But I still don't think that it lives up to the name. This car is called an Integra in Japan. It's a stock exhaust. This exhaust does not sound like stock at all. That's another thing. This car does not sound like it came from Honda this way at all. No, it's you can definitely tell it has the Type R muffler, no doubt about it. The sound is so intoxicating. Aggressive snarl that just sounds mean. See that right there is a little bit of the wobbliness in the suspension that I'm talking about. You're going around a corner and you hit a bump and it doesn't feel secure. It doesn't quite hug the road like you feel like it should. It almost feels like you have to back off a little because the car doesn't feel in control. While this is a really awesome suspension setup and it's top shelf, it doesn't compare. It makes too many compromises towards the soft side, and that's totally okay, because I feel like that's the whole direction that this car is going. It's going for a more adult kind of feel and vibe to it. It's not your boy racer kind of car where you're sitting really low. Who cares how easy or hard it is to get in? No, this car, it does sit up a little higher. The seats are a lot easier to get into than, say, an Integra. It's more of an adult car. One thing this car really does have going for it, though, is the transmission. It's unbelievable. This is hands down the best transmission I have ever shifted and felt. Reason for that, carbon fiber synchros. So it's the same ones as they put on the S2000. Got put onto this car. What? Going back to that, the carbon fiber, it makes the shift so smooth. It's just so silky smooth. Running it up to 8,000 RPM never gets old. Oh man. Honestly, that's the coolest thing about this car. 8,000 RPM. They just don't make cars like that nowadays. You can't get a commuter that revs to 8,000 RPM. Naturally aspirated. Makes 105 horsepower per liter. This car is timed 0 to 60 in about 6.1 seconds, so it won't destroy anybody in a drag race, but it certainly gets out of its own way, no doubt about that. Another thing about this K20 engine, everybody loves to put it in everything. It seems to be the go-to swap if you're in the Honda community nowadays. You want some power, you need something, K20 swap it. The steering wheel on this car is really nice. It's got these nice indents here, very nicely formed, goes right to your hand. It's a nice 3-star design, leather, feels just right. Another really neat thing about this car's interior, you've got these gauges here that light up all in red when you turn the lights on. This car revs so fast. Like, you hit the gas and you're instantly at 8 grand. You honestly have to watch the tachometer to make sure you don't over rev it. Going back to the adult and I guess more mature feeling of this car, you've got all the creature comforts and amenities that you would expect in honestly a lot of today's cars. You've got automatic climate control, you've got a Bose 7-speaker audio system, sounds pretty good. There's one statistic on a car that I feel might be the most important of all the statistics, and that's weight. This car weighs 3,000 pounds, and you feel the weight of it around the corners, honestly. It doesn't feel as light on its feet as it could. Now, that's not to say that this car isn't very agile or anything, but you can feel the heft of it as it goes around the corners. Another real cool thing about this car, lift off oversteer. When you're in a corner, you feel like you're getting a little understeer coming on, just sort of lift off a little. And there you go, the rear end comes around just how much you want it, just how much you lift off, and it's easily corrected. It's so easy to do, and it's a ball to use. One thing I feel Honda and Acura always seem to get right is the visibility out of the car. This goes along that same pattern. You can see everything around you. You've got a nice big windshield here. The dash doesn't intrude on you. The windows are big, you can see out of the rear view mirror, no problem. The dash though, the dash is really cool. So instead of being just a, your normal center facing, right at you kind of dash, it's angled towards the driver. Kind of tells you this is mine, not the passengers. The driver is more important in this car. Kind of shows you the direction that they were thinking with this car. This is a car you can live with on a daily basis, 100%. Would never complain driving this car all the time. All in all, I really enjoy driving this car. It has a few downsides, but I think that the positives outweigh them. So with that, that'll conclude this review of this RSX Type S. I'd like to thank you for watching. I had an absolute ball driving this car, and I hope everybody has a great day.